um, so far I wouldn't recommend it. I like it. It's a cool game, but it's just not as fun as 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are a lot of fun. Like, this is a cool game. I don't know, man. I'm like, I'll put out a review for this for sure when I'm done with it. I'm actually, I'm closing the game and it crashes on me. That's funny. I will definitely review this game, mostly because I love the first two games so much that even I don't hate this game. Even if I hated this game, I would have to review it. Like I would have to. I can't because I I talk about the first two all the time. Like I love those games. So I couldn't just like play this game and not review it, even if it's a bad review. I don't think it will be, but I will talk. I will be talking about some of the stuff that so far that I don't like. I have to beat it first, man. I have to complete it. I have to. I'm very confused as to like. I'm like there has to be maybe I played it wrong. Like I don't. It's weird. It's weird to have loved the first two games so much and then play this and just think it's like okay kind of a thing. Like I don't know. I loved both of them very much. I loved part one way more than part two, mostly because I prefer the story and the replay value in part one is way better than part two. But part two is excellent. Part two is freaking awesome. Um, it's just not as fun. Everything that you do in it, it's like in the first two games. There's a lot of stuff you do for fun. Like it's all just fun. And in this game, it like requires so much of you. Like it just like you have to do this, 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 and then it wasn't like that before. It was like you can do this. Look at all the cool things you can do. Do you have to? No. This game, it's like you have to do fucking everything. It's just like, it's weird, man. It's weird so far. I don't know, man. I think a lot of the stuff that they upgraded to is cool. Like the ideas are really cool, but it's like I don't know. I think the only thing I could guess is besides microtransactions, besides allowing microtransactions to screw up the way they designed the game, is the other thing that might have happened is maybe they thought you would be too OP if they didn't force you to do these stupid little dumb things that you didn't have to do in part one and part two. Because there's so much going on in this game, like there's a lot of stuff. Maybe they thought if they just let you play the game and just have fun, you'd be too overpowered. But so what? They should have let people just be overpowered. Like it would have been so much more fun. It's a little bit more tedious, I think, and I don't know. Like it's cool though. Like it is cool. Like that's why I'm like struggling, man. I'm just like, what the hell? I'm struggling because I think it's a cool game. It's just not as fun. It's just not as fun as the first two games. I don't. It's I like I wouldn't say screwed it up necessarily. Like it's just to me, it's not as fun as the first two games. Took notes here. I'll read you a few notes. These are notes that I plan to put in my review if I, depending on how the game goes by the time I complete it. Right. These are my like early impression notes. Can't loot weapons from enemies. This is very noticeable. Starting the game. And thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Thank you very much for the sub. That was my. So you basically, until you pay your own like upgrade talent tree thing, you have a pistol the whole time. That's it. So not on top of that, so you have like so here's the thing, man. It's related to the whole recruit characters stuff, which is cool. Like it's really cool that you recruit characters. The problem where they went wrong for me, where they went wrong was instead of having that as an extra cool thing to do, they force you to do it. So if you want a certain gun, you gotta use this character. If you want a certain melee weapon, you gotta use this character. If you want a certain skill, you gotta use this character. Like you can't just play the game and have fun and have all that available to you because they did this recruiting system. Um, instead of having it be bonus stuff, it's forced on you. So it's just weird. So part that's what bugs me about the not even on top of that, they don't let you loot weapons from enemies, and they drop them when you take down enemies. They drop them. They'll drop shotguns. They'll drop assault rifles, stuff like that. Whatever. You can't pick them up. They're just nope, not for you. You can't touch them, and it includes melee weapons as well. You cannot pick up enemy melee weapons. Like what the hell? What the hell, man? This is like the first stupidest thing about the game, right? It's oh. Um, it relies on different characters to do things. I had these as two separate notes, but it's all related. Like everything is related to having to recruit people, which is a really cool new thing in the game. But instead of being an optional bonus thing, it's this forced system where you have to play these characters to do certain things. It's I think so. I that's what I like. Either that, or they really wanted you to pay real cash money to unlock stuff in the game. I think there was a mix. It just I'm struggling with it, man. Because I'm just like, because there's so much. There is a lot of cool stuff. So the other thing, part of the reason I think it's part of my microtransactions thing, is because like in the first two games, you could constantly hack people, like NPCs and ATMs, banks, whatever. You could just constantly get all this money, right? I in the first couple hours I played with Watch Dogs 2, I had like $3 million because I just went around hacking everybody. And that wasn't like my second playthrough. I didn't do that my first playthrough because I didn't want to steal everybody's money. That whatever. But I went back and I was playing it again. And I was just stealing mass amounts of money, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm rich. I could buy whatever I wanted." And that stuff's expensive, like the clothing and stuff. Like if you buy everything, you literally can spend $1 million in a single store in the game. $1 million, right? This is like Watch Dogs 1, Watch Dogs 2. If you were to buy the customized, well, Watch Dogs 2, not Watch Dogs 1, but Watch Dogs 2, you could literally spend $1 million in one single store on clothing. And there are several stores that you go to that have different types of clothing. So in this game, you can't hack people, citizens. There's literally no reason to hack any person, and it's not even an option. You can't hack them. You don't get the dialogues, you don't get the private conversations, you don't get the texts, you get none of the items of interest or any of that stuff. That doesn't exist. It's not in the game. The only thing you can do when you hack people is recruit them. You can pick out people that have special abilities and stuff that you might like, and so that sucks. Like, because the recruitment thing is cool, but they removed cool shit that was in both part 1 and 2 to have this recruit system. Ah, it's just what? Let me see. Yeah, so I actually was telling you it's because these notes I literally just told you 2 extra notes. I told you I was gonna read my notes. I didn't read my notes because it's all related to this recruit system. The recruiting system, instead of being an extra bonus feature, is forced on you, and you have to use it. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because it's cool. Like, it's a cool system. It's just, instead of being addition to, it's instead of. Yeah. So it's like a side grade of part 1 and 2. So so some of the fun is taken out of it. It's but I'm hoping that I'll feel differently when I beat it. I don't know. Because I do like it. It's a cool game. I think it's like you said. I think what happened with because of the new feature, they thought you would be OP because there's a lot of cool new stuff. There's a lot more drones. Like, oh my gosh, you can control like turrets and freaking a little mini spider bot that can shoot guns, right? Like you can control flying drones that shoot guns, right? Like it has all this crazy cool like new tech in the game. But I think in order to balance it, they were like, okay, well, you can only do that with this character, kind of a thing. I mean, you can do it with any character once you unlock the stuff, right? Like you have this talent tree, and you can unlock them, and then you can use them on any character. It's like you get to pick like one ability that you equip at a time. So you can either have the spider bot equipped, or you could have like camouflage, turn invisible ability equipped. You can have like a super punch equipped, stuff like that, and you can change it. I haven't tried. I haven't like seen how often you can change it. Like I think you can change it anytime you're out of combat. Like as long as you're not in combat, you can change it. I think. So there are all these talent, but the it's just the recruitment system. They have these specialties and it's I think they were trying to balance it, and it's just weird. Like I don't think they had to have, because even part two, you could use drones to do almost everything. You could use the little RC car, the jumper, and you could just drive it all over and collect stuff. You could use your flying drone, and you could unlock these really early, like early in the game. If you just went around hacking stuff and taking money, you could get those really quickly. I did that on my second playthrough. I had the flying drone like right away, like in the first hour I played that game. I was like, oh damn, because I didn't. It took me a few hours my first playthrough to get the flying drone because it's really expensive. But if you just run around the world and hack everybody and just take everybody's money and whatever, like you can get it really quickly. And those are OP in part two. Like the little drones are pretty powerful little pieces of gear. But it was fun. Like it was really fun. Like even though I knew it was like, whoa, this is pretty powerful. Like it was fun. And in this one, it's just cool. Like instead of being fun, it's cool. Like it's cool, whatever. Like I don't know. It's a trip. It's a trip.